So here I am at Bafta with Tony Stiliano, who's actually in the film. Is that right, Tony?
That's correct, yeah.
What do you think about the story? What does it mean to you?
Well, personally, if I was to put myself into his shoes and losing your dad at 14 years old, it affected me, and I thought I definitely want to do this for him.
Yeah.
And after hearing the story, I thought he needs to be heard.
So here I am with James Corbin, who's actually in the film. Is that right, James?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. And what part are you playing in this film?
I'm playing one of the killers.
Okay.
One of the evil villains. It's more than just. It's gone from more than just a murder. It's gone. You know, it shows really our judicial system. There's something seriously wrong. The whole case. The whole case was bad from top to bottom.
When you was playing this part in this film, did it affect you in any way? Did you feel part of what really went on?
There's an aspect of the story that sort of starts to run through you, so you sort of sense yourself being in that time and that place. So that does kind of come into play a little bit as you're sort of walking through the woods and sort of imagine these guys that may be doing the same things back in the 90s. So you kind of feel like you're walking the path of others.
Okay.
So you know that did affect you, and that does sort of come into the way you behave.
Playing Lee, is that correct?
Yes.
So Lee was 14 at the time.
Yeah, I was 14.
I hope you had a shave.
I had more than a shave.
Yeah.
I had a face peel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Being asked to play 14 at 36 years old.
Yeah, but that's good.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was amazing to work with Lee, playing his dad and me playing him. Being able to ask such personal questions in such detail about how he felt at the time, what was going through his mind when he realised what was going on, you know, running for his life, being shot at, all that stuff. So I think this has been worth now 2 trips back from Norway to be involved in this, and I would do it again, drop of a hat.
So here I am with Eugene, and he's seen it, bought it, and got the T-shirt.
I'm here, yeah, I've got the T-shirt.
So before we go in and watch this film, what is your connection to this film?
Well, I'm a friend of Frankie's, and I've heard the story, so I'm here to support Frankie and the family. It's a travesty of justice. It's a story that needs to be brought out. It needs to be brought to the public attention. It needs to be investigated properly.
So it's obviously touching because you're standing there with a T-shirt on, and here we are, and you've spoke that lovely shirt. But doesn't matter because you've got a message on there, and that message says cowardice. And is that how you see this?
Certainly, yeah, definitely. It was a cowardly act. It was a disgraceful thing that happened to the family, and the story hasn't been brought. It hasn't been investigated properly, and it's a travesty of justice. It needs looking at.
My husband was a big, strong man, and what they did to him was akin to me of somebody coming along with a chainsaw, not an axe, a chainsaw, and taking down the village oak tree which had been standing for hundreds and hundreds of years. It was just, these things don't happen.
So I suppose from what you've just said, it sounds like the film's got the right title.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. They're stinking, rotten cowards.
Okay. So you're here today, and you've got the T-shirt on. Does that mean that you're sort of totally behind the Alice's?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, it's an out-and-out travesty of justice. The whole thing. I mean, because Craig Moore admitted to doing the shooting. And so if it's not murder, it's manslaughter. And yet they were let off, apparently for lack of evidence. Well, if you admit to killing somebody, it's manslaughter if it's not murder. And yet, so, I have to think to myself, who bought that judge?
What you're about to witness is based on true events. The cold-blooded murder of Tony Ellis and the attempted murder of his 14-year-old son Lee.
I was
think for me, we came here to watch a film, but it's more than that. It's really emotional,
Much more
and
than that.
and the story, the way Frankie and the guys explained it. I've learned so much about the issue and what happened. So yeah, quite overwhelming.
Yeah, really shocking that something like this can happen in our country.
Yeah.
You know, you hear about things like this in another country where less developed, more corrupt, but you never think something like that will happen here. That's the shocking thing. You know, we have faith in the justice system, and to think that a huge injustice like this happened is really shocking. They deserve justice. It's absolutely shocking.
Frank, you pulled this off, mate, and I've got to say to you, I'm going to hold my hands up and be absolutely truthful because I'm a straight man. I wasn't expecting to see a powerful little film like that there. I know you've done it on a shoestring. I know, we both know how much money goes into every little production. People don't realise it costs a fortune to get a minute's film. It looks really nice, and it's really powerful. It's really done the job. There was people in there sobbing, and the person who sobbed the most, I suppose, was rightly so, was Tony's wife, Lee's mum. How do you feel about how he just went in there?
I felt the build-up to it was almost too much for me because I just couldn't get a grip. It just got hold of me by the throat. I couldn't get the words out. We both know that. You know, when you've got a connection with something. I didn't really feel that we could have got more support if we'd have reached out further and had enough time, but we never. We just had to do it in one day. I was listening, wasn't reading with when Lee was telling me the story. And he didn't know I was writing as I was listening to him talking in conversations. And then I was picking up little bits and pieces, and I thought, well, I'll write this, you know. And I knocked it out in a couple of days. And then I never let him see anything. I didn't let him see, no one has seen this other than what you've seen tonight. The family, I locked it down just to keep it out of the way because you know, Rick, you don't. You let people have their input, you lose focus, you know. I've watched it several times, and I'm enjoying. I'm too close, but I do love it, and I think it gives a true reflection of what he knew after his dad, and he arrived after his dad got murdered, and when he arrived on the scene. But the rest of it is all come from information from locals and backstory that he's picked up over the years, and the rest of the family.
But the reason it was good is because it was so real and so honest and so gutsy. It ain't solved yet. No. Far from solved, far from sorted, but at least people, look, the worst thing can happen out of this is their voice will be heard.
Exactly.
But I just want to finish by congratulating you on tonight, mate, because you've pulled something off here, and I'm not going through the motions of saying well done. It's a powerful little film. And I think, you know, I think even the family, you can see a little bit of sparkle back in their eye. Because I feel like they feel they're being heard at least.
Exactly.
Well done, mate.
So where do you want it? In the front or the back?
You're brave. You're on my lower guns. I'm gonna call the police.
Now get off my fucking land.
So Lee, we've just watched the film. You look very emotional. And I get why.
Yes.
I could hear your mum sobbing at the back of the room. Everyone in there was choked. Choked for you, choked for your mum, choked for your family. And I've just spoken to Frankie. He's done you proud. It's a powerful little film, that. It's a start. How are you feeling about it all?
Like you just said, that Frankie's done me so proud. I've got to be honest, I feel a bit emotionally drained at the moment from seeing, because like I said, it's the first time I've watched it, and watched it from a different perspective when you watch unfolding this. It's horrible. I just think what my dad had to go through, it's horrible. And then what I had to go through, watching as an adult, what a 14-year-old boy had to go through. So it's hard to put into words, to be honest.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you can feel all that emotion in there. Then it was a powerful little film.
They did a fantastic job of it.
Yeah.
Frankie and all the actors, and that, it was a great job. And I'm probably a little bit speechless at the moment.
I bet you are, and you know the thing is, what an honour to play your own dad.
Yeah.
What an honour.
Yeah, you know, and I've always said if I was half a man he was, I'd be proud, you know.
Yeah.
And
well, maybe you are the man he was, because you know it's hard to say things like that yourself.
Yeah, it is,
but if he's looking down on us, I'm sure he'd be double proud of you today.
Cheers,
and the big thing I said to Frankie, and I've said to you this before, even if we don't get justice,
we've done something.
Please God we do.
Yeah.
But if we don't get justice, at least your voice has been heard.
Exactly, Ricky. Yeah.
And that is a big relief, and I sense a big relief from your brother, from your mum, from you.
Yeah, it is. It's
just for that.
Just for that, Ricky. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
I wish you all the luck in the future.
Thank you very
mate.
much. I really appreciate it.